Alright, today we're going to be going over the system of equations, the substitution method worksheet, and it's a purple paper. It's two-sided, 12 problems. The first four are actually the hardest on this, are actually 1, 2, and 4 are kind of the hardest on this method, because step 1's not done for us. We actually have to pick a variable and we have to get it by itself. Step 2 says you have to sub that expression in the other equation. Then you simplify. Remember, guys, simplifying usually means the distributive property and it usually means combining like terms. So those are the most common mistakes too, is those ones. Step 3, you're going to solve, and then you're going to get a number answer. You're going to take that number answer, you're going to plug it into step 4. Step 4 says take that number answer into the original equation. You're going to solve, and you're going to get another number answer. You're going to write those two answers in order pair, x then y. So number 1, we have 2x minus y equals 7. And 3x minus 4y equals 8. So you're going to look at the four variables. I'm actually going to pick the top y, because that top y of -1 has a coefficient that's closest to 1. So I'm going to get the top y all by itself. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Remember, guys, these are not like terms. See, a lot of people still making like term mistakes. I get the opposite of y equals, I like to put the variable first, so I write minus 2x plus 7. Now I divide everything by -1. So step 1 is all in red. And I end up with y equals 2x minus 7. Now I'm going to take 2x minus 7 and I'm going to plug it in to the y right here. So now I'm going to, in step 2, I'm going to rewrite the bottom equation. So I'm using the bottom equation, 3x minus 4, but instead of y, I'm going to put 2x minus 7 equals 8. Make sure you distribute. So I get 3x minus 8x plus 28 equals 8. It's a terrible 8. I combine my like terms. I get minus 5x plus 28 equals 8. Now I can solve. So step 3, I'm going to solve. You guys look right here. Step 3 is solve. I'm going to get a number answer. So I'm going to minus 28 from both sides. I get negative 5x equals minus 20. I divide by negative 5 on both sides. I get x equals positive 4. Now step 4 says I'm going to take that positive 4. I'm going to plug it in for x either the top or the bottom. I'm going to use the top, but it doesn't really matter. So step 4 says I'm going to put 2 instead of x. I'm going to put 4 minus y equals 7. I get 8 minus y equals 7. I subtract 8 from both sides to get minus y equals -1. Divide both sides by -1, so I get y equals positive 1. I have a number answer for x. I have a number answer for y. So last thing to do is I'm going to write as an ordered pair 4 positive 1. That's your answer right here. That's the solution. And that's it for number 1. Alright, number 2 is very similar to number 1. So I'm going to pick the top y to get by itself. So step 1, write 3x minus y equals 4. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I get negative y equals 4 minus 3x. Divide everything by -1. I get y equals positive 3x minus 4. So step 1's done. I'm going to take 3x minus 4. I'm going to plug it in for the bottom y. That's going to be my step 2. So I'm plugging it in right here. 6x plus 2 instead of y, remember? 3x minus 4 is going right there. So I have 3x minus 4 equals 8. I'm going to distribute. I get 6x plus 6x minus 4 equals 8. I get 12x minus 4 equals 8. I add 4 to both sides, and now we're on our solve portion. So that's step 3. So step 3 says we're going to solve. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I get 12x equals 12. Divide both sides by 12. I get x equals 1. I'm going to take that 1. I'm going to plug it into the top or the bottom. I'm going to pick the top. So step 4 says I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to say 3. Instead of x, I'm going to put 1 minus y equals 4. So I get 3 minus y equals 4. I subtract 3 from both sides. I get minus y equals 1. So y equals negative 1. So I have an ordered pair, 1, negative 1. That's your answer right there. That's the solution as an ordered pair. That's it for 2. All right, step 1 is actually done for us. Because if you look right here, x is already by itself. So I'm going to plug 8 minus 4y into the x in the other equation. So guys, this is one of the times I would use substitution. Like on problems numbers 1 and 2, I actually would use elimination now that we've learned it. But since actually on a problem like number 3, I would use substitution because it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to rewrite the bottom equation. So I'm rewriting the bottom equation, 2, but instead of x, I'm going to put 8 minus 4y minus 5y equals 29. I distribute. I get 16 minus 8y minus 5y equals 29. I combine my like terms. I get minus 13y plus 16 equals 29. Remember, step 3 says we're going to start solving. So I'm going to minus 16 from both sides. I get negative 13y equals 13. I divide by negative 13. So I get y equals negative 1. I'm going to take that negative 1. I'm going to plug it into the y up top. The reason we use the top one is because it's a little bit simpler. And it's going to make it actually really easy. So step 4, x equals 8 minus 4 instead of y. I'm putting negative 1. So I get x equals 12. So my order pair is going to be 12, negative 1. And that's it. See how much easier it is when step 1 is done for us? It just saves us so much time. Alright, so number 4. This one is not as easy as number 3. But it's the last kind of difficult one. So, I'm going to get the bottom x by itself, which is really easy. I'm just going to add 2y to both sides. And remember, they are not like terms. So I get x equals 2y plus 10. I plug 2y plus 10 in for x in the top equation. So remember, whenever you go to step 2, you have to use the other equation. So I'm going to rewrite the top equation as 3, but instead of x, I'm going to put 2y plus 10 minus 4y equals 11. Distribute, I get 6y plus 30 minus 4y equals 11. I combine my like terms. I get 2y plus 30 equals 11. And now I'm going to go into step 3, which is I'm going to minus 30 from both sides. I get 2y equals negative 19. I divide both sides by 2. I get y equals negative 19 halves. Or maybe you put negative 9.5. Now I'm going to take negative 19 halves. I'm going to plug it in for y in the bottom equation. So step 4 says I'm going to take negative 19 halves. I'm going to write x minus 2, but instead of y, I'm going to put negative 19 over 2, which the 2's cancel, so I get x minus a negative was positive 19. I subtract 19 from both sides, I get x equals negative 9. So I got an x I have a y, I write it as an order pair. X first, then y. If you want to put negative 9.5, that's fine too. And that's it for number 4. Alright, number 5. So every problem from this point forward is going to be a little bit easier because all the variables will already be, step 1 will already be done for us. So look, step 1 is done because y is already by itself. So I'm going to put 6x minus 11 in for y in the bottom equation. So remember, step 2, we're going to change our colors. We're going to use the other equation. So I'm going to say minus 2x minus 3. Instead of x, I'm going to put 6x minus 11 equals negative 7. Guys, if you don't have all x's or all y's after step 2, you messed up somewhere. I'm going to distribute. I'm going to get minus 2x minus 18x plus 33 equals negative 7. I'm going to combine my like terms to get minus 20x plus 33 equals negative 7. Now, I'm going to solve. So I'm going to minus 33 from both sides. I get minus 20x equals minus 40. I'm going to divide both sides by 20. I'm going to x equals positive 2. Now that positive 2 is going to go to the bottom or top x. It doesn't matter which one, but I'm going to pick the top x. So step 4 says I'm going to write y equals 6, but instead of x I'm going to put 2 minus 11. So I get 12 minus 11. So y equals 1. I have an x, I have a y. That means my final answer is 2, 1 as an ordered pair. Remember guys, that means that x is 2, but at the same exact time y is 1. That's why we have to write it as an ordered pair. And that's it for 5. Alright, number 6. We have 2x minus 3y equals negative 1. Y equals x minus 1. Remember, step 1 is already done for me because y is already by itself. Y is already by itself. So step 1 is done. Remember guys, I would definitely use up substitution if I had the choice in this one because step 1 is already done for me. So I'm going to take x minus 1. I'm going to plug it into the top y. So I'm going to rewrite the top equation. 2x minus 3, but instead of y, I'm going to put x minus 1. I have to distribute. So I get 2x minus 3x plus 3 equals negative 1. I combine my like terms. I get minus x plus 3 equals negative 1. Now I'm going to solve. I'm going to minus 3 from both sides. I get negative x equals negative 4. I divide both sides by negative 1. Get x equals positive 4. So I think I forgot to record. I think I wrote this before I hit record. So I had x is 4. I plugged it in. So I plugged it in for y. I used the bottom equation. Y equals 4 minus 1. Y is 3. So guys, what we found out is that when step 1's done for us, it also makes step 4 easy. So that's why it's so much quicker when we have step 1 done for us. And our final answer was an order pair 4, 3. Make sure you put it as an order pair. Alright, number 7. Once again, step 1's done for us. Because I have y all by itself equals x plus 3. So I'm going to plug x plus 3 into the top x. Or I'm sorry, I messed up. The top y. And then, so I'm going to rewrite it as 3x plus 3. Instead of y, I'm going to put x plus 3. Equals negative 3. I'm going to use the distributive property. So I end up with 3x plus 9 equals negative 3. I end up with 6x plus 9 equals negative 3. I'm going to subtract by 9 on both sides. Oh, that's the next step. So I'm going to change colors. So this is actually step 3. So I'm going to minus 9 from both sides. I get 6x equals negative 12. I divide by 6 on both sides. I get x equals negative 2. I'm going to take that negative 2. I'm going to plug it in to the top x right there. So I'm going to write y equals negative 2 plus 3. So y equals 1. I have an x, I have a y. My answer is going to be negative 2, 1. And that's it for number 7. All right, number 8, we have y equals negative 2, 4x minus 3y equals 18. So guys, this one's actually the easiest problem on the entire worksheet. Step 1 is done for us because I have a letter all by itself. Steps 2 and 3 are also done because I already have a number answered. So I'm just going to pick negative 2. I'm going to plug it into the bottom equation. I'm going to put 4x minus 3 instead of x, or y. I'm going to put negative 2 equals 18. I get 4x plus 6 equals 18. I minus 6 from both sides. I get 4x equals 12. So x equals 3 when I divide both sides by 4. Look, I have an x. I already have a y. So my final answer is actually just 3, negative 2. It's actually the easiest problem on this paper. All right, number 9, we have x equals 5y, and we have 2x plus 5y equals 15. So once again, step 1 is done because I have x all by itself. So I'm actually going to put 5y, I'm going to plug it in right there for x. So I'm going to rewrite the bottom equation. 2, instead of x, I'm going to put 5y plus 5y equals 15. 2 times 5y is 10y, plus 5y equals 15. I end up with 15y equals 15. That's pretty easy to solve. So I'm going to divide both sides by 15. I get y equals 1. I'm going to take that 1, I'm going to plug it into the top y. Even though it doesn't matter which y I plug it into, I can plug it into the bottom. But I end up with x equals 5 times 1, so x equals 5. I have an x, I have a y, I'm going to write it as an ordered pair. 5, 1. And that's it for number 9. Alright, number 10. I have x minus 4y equals 12, y equals 2x minus 10. So once again, guys, I have y all by itself. So step 1 is done. So that means I have y equals 2x minus 10. I'm going to take 2x minus 10. I'm going to plug it in for y right there. So now I'm going to rewrite step 2. Or rewrite the top equation. I'm going to put x minus 4 instead of y. I'm going to put 2x minus 10. So look, I put that in right there. I distribute. That's the most common mistake. X minus 8x minus 40 equals 12. I combine my like terms. I end up with minus 7x minus 40 equals 12. I add. Now I'm going to solve using pendulum in reverse. So I get rid of the subtraction first. So I have 40 to both sides. I end up with negative 7x equals 52. I divide both sides by 7. I'm going to x equals negative 7 3/7. So now I'm going to take negative 7 3/7. I'm plugging in for y over here. So I'm going to have x minus 4 negative 7 3/7 equals 12. So I'm going to get x plus 29 5/7. So you do negative 4 times negative 7 3/7, it gets 29 5/7 equals 12. So then you subtract 29 5/7 from both sides. So you're going to put x equals negative 17 5/7. So I have an x. I'm sorry. Oh, whoa. Oh, that's supposed to be y. So I have a x is negative 7 3/7, and I have a y. So my final order pair is going to be negative 7 3/7, negative 17 5/7. And that's it for 19. I don't know why I said 19. That was 10. All right, 11. So 11 is x equals y plus 1. So x equals y plus 1, and the bottom is x plus y equals 3. So once again, step 1 is done for us, because x is all by itself. So step 1, x equals y plus 1. I'm going to take y plus 1, I'm going to plug it in for x right there. So remember, I'm going to use the bottom equation, because I started with the top equation. So I'm going to write y plus 1 for x plus y equals 3. I add the y's together, I get 2y plus 1 equals 3. Well, now I'm going to start solving. Remember, that's a different step, so that's why I change colors. I minus 1 for both sides. I get 2y equals 2. Divide by 2 on both sides. Y equals 1. I'm going to take that 1. I'm going to plug it in for the y in the original. I like to use the top one, or whatever one I started with. So I'm going to put x equals 1 plus 1. So x equals 2. I have an x. I have a y. My order of pair is going to be 2, 1. And that's it for number 11. Alright, number 12. 12 is the last one. So once again, guys, step 1's already done for us. Because I have y equals 3x minus 4. Y is already by itself. I'm going to put 3x minus 4 in for y in the bottom equation. So now I'm going to rewrite the bottom equation. 2x minus 3. Instead of x, I'm going to put 3x minus 4 equals negative 9. I distribute, and I distribute the negative sign. So I have minus 9x plus 36 equals negative 9. I combine my like terms. I get minus 7x plus 36 equals negative 9. Now, I'm going to minus 36 from both sides. I'm going to get negative 7x equals negative 45. I divide both sides by negative 7. I get x equals 7 3/7. Alright, this is a mistake not on purpose, so let me go back. I messed up here. I don't know where I got 36 from, so let's fix that. That should have been 12. I'm crazy. So that should say 2x minus 9x plus 12 equals negative 9. So I'm going to fix that. Sorry about that. That was an accidental mistake, but I did catch it. Now I combine those two to get minus 7x plus 12 equals negative 9. Now I'm going to use my PEMDAS backwards to solve. So I'm going to minus 12 from both sides. I get negative 7x equals minus 21, and I divide both sides by 7. So I get x equals, by negative 7, I get x equals positive 3. I take positive 3. I'm going to plug it in for x right here. So I'm going to say y equals 3 times 3 minus 4. So I'm going to have y equals 9 minus 4, which is 5. So I have a y and I have an x. So my order pair is going to be 3, 5. And that's it for this worksheet.